Hi, and welcome to day 3 of the 30-day mixed media card challenge using those craft supplies that you've got hanging around. So today we're going to be making this card, so let's get started. I'm just using an ordinary piece of card that's folded in half, so you can do it any size you like. This is 7 inches by 5 inches. And I'm going to start by taking an ink pad and just running it around the edge, just for effect. Lots of different ways that you can do this, and if you see the professionals, they will show you all sorts of tools and techniques to make sure you get a really quality job. All I'm showing you is if you've got an ink pad, you can just run it round and there you go. Might be a little bit more rough and ready, but that's sometimes the effect you want. So that's what this series is all about, not needing 1,000 craft supplies. What we are doing today is some stamping. So whether you've got stamps or not, I suggest you watch and see what you think, because maybe you'd like to have a go. And I'm going to use these stamps that you apply to an acrylic block. It's much cheaper and much more flexible. So you can see I've got the flower there, and all you do is stick it onto the acrylic block. It just holds itself there. You just place it on, and then I'm going to cover it with ink using my ink pad. And because it's on a clear acrylic block, you can place it exactly where you want. There's no guessing. There's no wondering which bit it's overlapping with. And then there we go. A nice flower print. So obviously you could do that with lots of different things. So don't think stamping's difficult. There's easy ways of doing it. And I'm going to show you now by adding my message, my greeting, thinking of you, as a stamp. So normally you'd just use another block or clean it all up, but I'm just going to carry on to show you. So I've now applied that to the block, and you could see how easy it was to take one off and put the other one on. The only difficulty I've got is picking it up off the table. And then I can place it because I can see through the block. So I can place it perfectly directly over my flower. Bit of pressure, and there we go. And that's how easy it is. So that's one of the skills I've included in this video. And I'm now going to make some 3D effect at the bottom, just using a PVA glue and tissue paper. And all I've done is tear up my tissue paper into small pieces, and then I'm going to stick them on. Now you could draw a design, draw leaves, stems, whatever you want. I'm literally just gluing them on. And you'll see I'm deliberately folding them up, deliberately getting them screwed up a bit. And that's to give a bit more texture. So you can imagine kids would love doing this to a card, so it is a great one to involve them with. And I'm just going for an overall green effect down here, so I've sped the film up a little bit so you don't get too bored. But as I say, you could do a fancy design, you could do sky, clouds, anything you wanted using your tissue paper. So if you're enjoying this video, could you give me a thumbs up so it spreads to more people? And then we can all be making cards, even though we're not really card makers. And then once I'm happy that I've got enough done there, I'm going to turn my attention to the stem. And I could just get a green marker and draw a stem on. That'd be absolutely fine. But I think I'm going to go for more 3D by rolling up some of this tissue paper to form a stem. Just going to try and get it nice and tight because I don't want a really fat stem. I'm not sure it's going to be long enough either. So yeah, I'll do 2. And I'll stick them both on, and that'll give me a little bit more texture on that stem. And because they're tissue paper, even though they're rolled up, they won't take much gluing down. You won't need any specialist glues. You can just stick with your PVA. Mine's an actual, something called a decoupage glue, but any PVA glue will do it. Oh, it's very green, so I'm just going to rinse it in my water. Get that brush rinsed, dry it off a little bit, and then back in the glue. So I'm just going to dab some glue exactly where I want the stem to be, and then I'll pop a stem on, and then the other one, and then I think, yeah, a little bit more glue, and just make sure it's completely pressed down, completely covered. And there's the card. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll hope you'll enjoy having a go at those 2 techniques and making your own flower card today.